Hey guys, Sam from Pilladex Gaming. Question, how awesome is Shadow of the Colossus? If you were lucky enough to own a PlayStation 2 in the winter of 2006, chances are you were treated to one of the greatest game experiences of all time. Rather than encountering constant enemies on your journey and adding countless more hours to gameplay, Shadow of the Colossus had you riding and exploring across vast, scenic environments and partaking in lone boss battles. The backstory given was also quite vague, and left much up to the player's interpretation. The premise, simple: fight and defeat 16 Colossi and resurrect a sleeping beauty like damsel. Still, in return, we were given one of the most unique, aesthetic, and emotionally touching experiences in gaming. So when the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection came out years after, I seen it as a great excuse to relive one of my favourite PS2 games. And while the HD remaster delivered, I was also left with a taste of some flaws more evident during this later period. My attention was soon then set on The Last Guardian, a new installment developed by the same team that made Shadow of the Colossus, thinking it would be a fitting supplement for the void Shadow of the Colossus had left in me years prior. But again, though the game wasn't bad, it suffered from some almost non-excusable flaws, mostly put to its extensive time in development. So naturally, when I seen a sneak peek of the 2018 remake, I freaked. Not only did the remake seem to live up to the memories of my 2006 winter, it looked to be a big candidate for one of, if not the best game remakes ever. I know what you're thinking, that's a pretty gutsy statement, Sam. So to prove my point, I decided to make a list of my top reasons to why you should play Shadow of the Colossus 2018. This is probably our strongest reason on the list. 2018's Shadow of the Colossus will be a true remake, rather than just a HD port. Everything is made from ground up. The objects, textures, surroundings, sounds. It's why the game, in a lot of early footage, almost looks like a completely different game. And I say this in a good way. It means every detail of the game, major or subtle, will be enhanced, along with our gaming pleasure. Even the motions are redesigned, leading to much more realistic and convincing Colossi. The original game came with very few flaws, but unfortunately, it was the frame rate that stood out as one of these. This was particularly evident during moments of a Colossus battle, when the game was known to stutter to a crawl as you would ascend up upon a Colossus. At the time, this was in ways in good intention, with developers wanting to push the game and the PlayStation 2 capabilities to its maximum. By the time the HD remaster was released on PlayStation 3, developers instead chose the less risky route, capping the demand of the game in order to ensure more frame stability. Early access of the remake has shown no signs of this previous flaw whatsoever, and with the FPS now improved from 30 to 60, we could look forward to a near perfect game now being even closer to flawless. Hey, what's the point in upscaling the game's environments if you haven't got the view to take it in? Obviously, the RAM in the PlayStation 2 only had so much during its time. Shadow of the Colossus is known for its mass open landscapes, and in taking advantage of the PlayStation 4 technology, its developers have immensely expanded on the draw distance, allowing the player to peer right across the game's plateau. Along with the game's visuals and sounds, the remake's controls will also be introduced with a new control scheme for modernised and better fitted gameplay. Moving around the environment will feel more fluent and traversing more natural, which is essential during combat sequences. From what we know at this time, the jump input is now conveniently moved from the triangle to the X button, and the dodge roll is dedicated to the circle button, allowing for easy employment over the old R1 plus triangle combination. The game map can also be quickly accessed using the PlayStation 4 touchpad. Conversely, if you want to keep things to more the traditional approach, the classic configuration will still be included for all you classic Shadow of the Colossus fans out there. As mentioned in point 2, Shadow of the Colossus bore few technical blemishes. The gameplay camera can also be noted to be one of the only few downfalls to the game, focusing on every other direction or just seemingly to be confused on what to put in view altogether. This is also addressed in the remake, with more intelligent camera sense and better reaction. For instance, when a Colossus is moving away or attacking, the camera will recognise this and pull away accordingly to adjust for scale. The camera also keeps up well with swift movement, which is crucial again in Colossus battles. The sheer scale of the Shadow of the Colossus world has clearly been a key to the wonder of the game, and though the scale may not stand out by today's game standards, original players of the game can tell you how jaw-dropping their first impressions were. Only the first 3 Colossus have been made available in the remake's early access playthroughs, but already going by comparison, we can already notice a distinguishable difference in the Colossus size next to its original counterpart. This again would lead us to believe the developers have taken full benefit of the platform's high capabilities. I don't know about you, but I'm sure excited to see how the other 13 Colossus will look in their new upscaled appearance. One big assurance of the remake is the game studios taking part. The game's development has been put in charge of Sony Interactive Entertainment's Japan studio, who have worked on titles such as Knack, Gravity Rush, and Bloodborne. Still not sold? Well, another studio having joined the team is Bluepoint Games, a studio recognised for its ports and remastering. Bluepoint Games have been responsible for the likes of Titanfall on Xbox 360 and Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, alongside the original Shadow of the Colossus. With a studio specialising in the field of remastering, surely a faithful remake should be guaranteed. And that takes me to the end of my list of why you should play Shadow of the Colossus 2018. What do you think? Are you convinced? Remember to like and subscribe, and comment below what you'll be looking forward to most when playing the remake. Until next time.